Good morning, good day, good evening, whatever your time zone may be. Doesn't matter here for VRL and for Mercedes, Joost and Marco in the Ferrari, Alexis Lion, Steven, the Red Bull, Felix and Tim is not here. That's weird, but Felix for now then. VLT Midnight in the hard car, Jordan in the McLaren together with Gijs Bos, Sam and Luke in the Racing Point, Xavier Mateos and Formula F making his debut finally, Koen in Toro Rosso, and FIFA and Vrl in the Williams to line up the grid. So I must say I'm surprised Tim is not here. Our championship leader actually, well, P2, same amount of points as the championship leader Sam. So then, it's 15:13. I hope we can get on our way soon. Tim. Oh, Tim, his game crashed, but he's back, so we should be good to go. So then going on to track for our qualifying session. Let's hope it stays nice and dry for the drivers. For us, of course, would be some more excitement if we would have a little bit of rain thrown onto the circuit, but it looks to be completely dry in at Monaco here at the night. So here we are then, in my personal favorite track, not to driver, but certainly will be to watch. Of course, first time since season 1 we are racing here. Back then we only had 9 races racing, something around like that, and only 6 finishing. So it certainly will be a little bit better than this. And Phil, one of the few drivers to actually be at that Monaco Grand Prix, is going out together with a few other people like Felix, who seems to be the first one out on track there, together with FIFA and Gijs. Everyone looking to get a lap in quick. Of course, always the danger of the wall here around Monaco. Felix struggling a little bit last evening while practicing, of course, with his weird tires, and specifically with this corner. Very hard to do in the controller. Of course, Formula Lab making his debut finally after missing 3 races, including pre-season testing then. And Joost is also making his debut together with Jordan in the McLaren. Now, if you don't mind, I'll just quickly get the chat up. So Felix then on his first lap in the yellow, in the French car around a somewhat French track. So here we go then, turn 1, he's navigated that well. Now this is the part where the controller can definitely keep up with all the rest of the wheel drivers, but this section is also doable, but the next 2 corners are very hard on controller. And this is just killing them. Of course, you can't get the same amount of turn into the corner with a controller. So he's navigated the worst part for him, and now he comes up to the bridge, comes under the bridge, and goes into this very tricky chicane, which he can't hit with the rear tire. And now coming out of that, you want to go maximum attack into this very flowing track section of the track. And the last two corners are pretty straightforward. Now Felix is at the first time of the season 4 Monaco Grand Prix, and what is it? A 196. Can Dafifa go over that? No, he cannot. He goes a 198, and Jordan goes a 193. Joost and F1 Midnight in P4. Ryan Oliver has set the 5th quickest time. Chat, and I can see in the chat Shepalele has been through some surgery. If you can get out of the hospital quickly, and he'll be back from and oh Jesus, him sometime. And let's just see, I'm just trying to see if there's anything. And Marco's still on track, but he is on his in lap. I do hear the stream quality is very bad. There's nothing I can do about it right now. Maybe try to refresh it. Maybe that should help for you guys, but there's nothing I can do about it for now. I also have a very weird issue where it says migrating host, so I could be up for some internet trouble this time. Lion on his out lap. Number 2. Sam goes P1, and he goes a bit quicker than his Racing Point teammate, and he will line up for P1 for now. Yeah, sorry guys, there's nothing I can do about the steam quality. I can see it as well. And Steve goes P4 in his Red Bull, which normally in real life works very well around this track. And Gijs all the way down in P14. What can he improve on his time? Yeah, I can try to turn off the chat, and that maybe would help. But it's only my iPad that's on, so I hope it's fixed. Oh wait, let me just get the lip dot on. Oh, he's only a bit slower than his original time, but he has gone over to cut the corner. Ryan, flying left for him. Oh, that's one of the Ferraris coming out of the pits. And Mr. Team Wentinken's gone P1. And he now has pole position by not that much. Less than a 10th, I believe it is. And he will immediately put out of the way for his Renault teammate, Felix. And someone has gone, I'm pretty sure someone went up a position again. Now Lion goes P1 again. Also a little bit quicker than Vrl F1 P2, and then Joost goes P1. And 9 minutes remain, and Joost is on pole position. Very chaotic, I must say. A lot of people are on track at the same time. Number 3 pulls into the pits. Yeah, I can't stop the migrating house thing. We'll just have to live with it. Felix in P9, leads by number 7, Steve. And the newcomers are doing very well, of course. Joost in P1 and Jordan in P6. Can he finally turn the tide for McLaren? Of course, very unlucky season 3 and very unlucky start to season 4 thus far. And his teammate, Gijs, is not doing any better than Jordan, considering he's all the way down in P16. We'll be looking to improve on that. And one of the Mercedes guys just come out of the pits again. Everyone's going out at the same time. A lot of laps are being set. So Sam then Racing Point driver was on pole for a little bit until he was dumped down to P5 again. We'll come to start his lap and hope to regain that P1 position. And he lifts a bit there. I wonder what's wrong with that. He's definitely going very slow. He could have been on a lap, and that could have been not a very good lap. And Steve is 13,000 of a second up on this time. Can there be more coming into what's this called again? Swing pole section. Oh, he literally drifts his car through that part of the track. Beautiful, looks very beautiful. Very nice drift from Steve. And very much reminiscent of Gasly in Monaco free practice, but it did not give him any time, considering he was a 10th down on this time again. Out lap. Jordan, and what can he do? The man in P6. Also another lap. Is Phil on lap? Yes, I believe so, he is. The man who reached an all-time low at Baku, where we're looking to regain himself a bit here, has said he will be going for a different approach, starting with ABS off, but also a different mindset coming into this race. Just focusing on finishing and then picking up the pieces. Of course, that's what he needs. That is what he wants to do. But we'll be able to get, of course, Monaco, very challenging circuit. Last time he raced there, he would get a very decent P2 all the way back in season 1. And there's yellow flags. I'm not gonna look at it. Most likely people leaving each other by. Oh, he goes into the pits, and there won't be enough time for to go for another lap, I believe, here. Vrl in P9, and that's one of the Alfa Romeos into the wall. That's Javi, and Lion meanwhile goes P1 again with a 184 compared to Joost's 187. Beautiful shots of him going through the swimming pool chicane, pushing that car to the absolute maximum there. but he will pull into the pits, and most likely Tim will also do that. And Joost already is in the pits. Felix, he's on time and he's nearly a 10th up on his time, but Marco is in his way. That will give him some dirt, yeah. And I hope he will get out of the way quickly, considering Felix is fast approaching. And he won't get out of the way. But he will improve on this time, but it's not a good improvement. And considering Marco goes for another slow lap there, it's very weird, considering he could have easily just left him by there. This is not very nice for Marco. Mercedes is not doing very well outside of the top 10 for now. 3 minutes remain. People are gonna have to start going out there setting their lap times if they want to improve on their position and lap time. Vrl has done so by going P4 from outside of the top 10. Where's my driver? Pink car on the dark circuit of Monaco. Let's just go for a lap with him. Here he attacks the first corner very nicely. Minimum space towards the wall, and he's already slowed down again. He may have got an invalidation there. Midnight also not on a flying lap. Marine is. He's pushing it to the limits, and he had to be careful on his throttle there, and he's coming up to Luke. Traffic, of course, a bit of a pain in the arse here around the Monaco circuit. Moves out of the way nicely there for his fellow Dutchman. Only just behind his teammate for now. Lion with a 184 still sits in P1. Ooh, drifting through the swimming pool section there. And VRT Midnight and Q not done. And he will go P3 for the Dutchman in the Mercedes. What can the Dutchman in the Renault do about the Dutchman in the Mercedes? But now he's only half a 10th up. I hope we can get rid of the migrating host thing. He's a 10th up right now. Nearly 210, so he just needs to be careful he doesn't cut it there, and I think he might just have done so. And if not, he's definitely ruined his lap right now. Comes into the pits, crashing into that's not good. The game is teleporting him back onto the circuit there. Look, in P6 behind Vrl. I might just leave this session real quick on the formation lap to get rid of the migrating host thing. That's really annoying and distracting. And now he's got a floor it, and as Felix and Tim have crashed there. So he won't improve on this time. It will be P6 around the not very overtakeable Monaco circuit. What can Phil do? He's also still on a flying lap to get away with Formula Lap, and that's an absolute pile up there for Formula Lap. He can't go anywhere, and that will mean P15 and P18 for the Alpha guys on the grid. Now, luckily for Phil, the pile up has already cleared up, and Lion is down, so he will not be able to improve on this time. It will be up to the rest if he can keep his pole position. Phil, what can he do about it? Pole position, he can't do anything. It will be P14 from him. A very disappointing result. And Felix doesn't look to be any quicker than Moran flying the flag for Mercedes in the top 3. I'm pretty sure Joost isn't on the flying lap anymore, so that will mean, and Phil's purposely crashed his car already, and Felix won't improve on his time. I'm pretty sure, yes he will, go P10. Good job by him. And now I'll just check if I have another invite, just to be sure. I may be able to leave and rejoin. I'll just see information lap. If not gonna, I might be able to quickly leave the session and rejoin and be back for the start. So that should do it. Ali Monaco still coming back into the pits. A very disappointing P17 for him. 2 seconds clear though of the next car behind him, Xavi Mateos. Very disappointing result for him. Now I will just quickly leave the session. It looks like it won't stop. Okay, if I just quickly leave session, and then it should stop, and I should be able to rejoin back. Sorry, joining session again, should be able to participate. Spectate. Still says short qualifying in progress. Should be able to join for the race though. Yeah, there we go. Stop saying migrating host. Easy fixed. So then, formation lap is on our way. Let's hope we can go for the race start. Yes, it's already gone. Good. So then, a dry start for the VRL drivers here around Monaco. All the way back, Xavi Mateos, 2 seconds slower than the nearest car in front of him, Monaco. So then, lining everyone up. Of course, in the back seat to win this race, this is very hard to overtake around this circuit. Everyone knows you don't have to be a genius, Formula 1 genius, to know that it's very hard to overtake around Monaco. Here we come then, everyone's AR's taking control of the cars again. That FIFA P8. A solid drive by him ahead of Season 3 champion and Season 4 backer race winner Steve. Felix in P10. Jordan in P11. and VRT Midnight in P12, P13 it's Koen, Phil Smith in P14, Gijs in P15, Formula Lab in P16, Marco in P17, Xavi in P18, lines up onto the grid, and we wait for 5 simple red lights to release 18 drivers around one of the most trickiest circuits on the whole VRL calendar. Lights go on and away we go here around Monaco, and Lion seems to have a good start, and he won't be attacked into turn 1, and look, it will be, it's Joost, with a little bit of contact between Marijn and Joost. Seems to be very clean for now, and oh, there's already a car into the wall there. That's one of the Alfa Romeos, I'm pretty sure that must be Formula Lab. And Marco's already made up a few places there, Phil lost 2, and it seems to be fairly clean. Oh no, there's a car rolled over on top of the Renault driver of Felix, and that's Jordan, who's just being bullied into the corner. He's flipped the whole car over, and there wasn't any room to overtake into that corner. Just flipped the car over. No ghosting system working for him now, I guess. And Formula Lab with damage already on the first lap, but completely done by himself. Meanwhile, Lionel's already created a gap by of 1.3 seconds, and he can top 3 running in, top 2 running in 0 and none. And a very big gap between Joost and Lion, even though that has come down by 2 tenths again, and he is at the fastest lap instead of Lion, so that's very weird. And Jordan, and of course you would expect Jordan to come into the pits after that airborne crash by him. Very weird crash by the game, and Formula Lab just giving himself damage there, and the green lights given to him, and they can go on their merry way. Massive crash for the McLaren driver there, and Tim's already putting Marijn on the fat for the position 3. So guys, what do you think of that start? Very interesting one. And Marijn is fending off the challenge of Tim there. Meanwhile, Joost is closing up to a Lion there. He went on his debut. Seems to be a bit of a train forming all the way from P7 to P3 there, and P8 and the rest of that group, and the guys who aren't in the train are Felix and Steve, but FIFA and Steve, but the rest is also on the train with VRT Midnight, Koen, not Marco. But yeah, lots of trains forming already here. Quite a bit of time from P13 all the way up to P12. Could have been some comments forming there, and that is contact for the wall, with the wall by Felix, and he has got front wing damage, so he'll have to pit this lap. And meanwhile, Raul also goes into the pit. Will that be a front wing train for him as well? Of course, we have to wait to see all the way to the end of the pit lane, because that is where the Williams points are positioned. Yes, there is another front wing change there. It's an early stop onto hard tires there. Very interesting tire choice by him. And there was some side-by-side action there between VRT Midnight and Felix there into the place where you really can't go side-by-side. Meanwhile, Tim is still putting on the pressure on Marijn, but nothing more, nothing less. And they have formed a bit of a gap towards Luke and Sam there. So it's from P3 all the way down. Oh, actually, I'm pretty sure all the way down to P6. It's a Dutch top 7. Oh, 6, sorry. And Tim can come closer, but he can't come close enough to go for a move. Typical Monaco story there, and Felix is losing more positions. This time he's lost one to Koen, and he goes into P10 instead of Felix. And the damage is definitely affecting him. And the next victim he will most likely fall victim to Phil and Marco next time, but they're still battling it out for P12 on the grid. And Tim comes into the pits, very slow stop by him. He's being held up, he can't release. They're holding him. Only now they've released him. Could that be their 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane? And Marco's crashed from the session. Out from the session goes Marco on a very weird place. Raul didn't need to avoid him. Does that mean Phil has damage from that? No, he does not. He goes on his merry way up to P11 and looking to be chasing down P10 man with funneling damage Felix. Woo. Meanwhile, gaps are staying well and solid between the top three, and there seems to be more action down the midfield of the grid. Steve comes also into the pit. Will he also opt for the harder tires? Looks like he will. I'll just show the tires for now. Mostly everyone on softs, and Felix also goes on to the pits for most likely what seems to be, to me, another set of hards. Yes, it is. The Renault boys put on a set of hard tires for their Dutch driver. Beautiful spectacle here. Tim still putting on the pressure on Marine, but it's just not enough. He seems to be quicker in some part of the tracks, but Marine seems to be pulling away again in the other parts of the tracks, but this is where he definitely closes up the most. This time he's very close to him. Could he go for a move into Centervolt? No, it looks like he can't. It seems to me Marine has more straight line speed than Tim. Midnight also goes into the pits, moves up Phil, another extra position up to P8. It seems to me Marine definitely gains the most on action and straight lines. Yes, he definitely gains the most on the straight line. Of course, not many of them here in Monaco, but it just seems to be enough to get away from Tim and not be able and make sure Tim can't go for a move. He's a bit loose into the singing pole section there. Tim will have to try something bold if he wants to get past the Mercedes driver, leading the championship right for now. I'm pretty sure with a consistent finish he would be able to take over the lead of Sam, who's now in P13, but of course Sam did already make a pit stop. And Koen also comes into the pits. I mean, there's a massive train forming behind Trevi Mateos. And oh, following change for, I'm pretty sure, what of the Williams driver that was, maybe? I couldn't really tell, but there definitely was a following change. So Steve Madam comes out behind his fellow Spanish man, and they rejoin behind his train. Oh, made contact with the wall there, won't do his following damage any harm. Oh, Tim goes for an optimistic move on Marine there, and Luke closes right up, but can't go past. and he will have to live to fight another day, Tim, to get into the P3 position. Tim and Luke definitely seem to have to pace over Moran here, but he's just keeping them behind beautifully. Could help them definitely in his second stint. Oh, Joost gets a penalty there, so he will have to get past and also create a 3-second gap there. And Tim is closing up again to Vrl out of the session, and that will be a DNF from him, and so seems to Gijs seems to be out as well. Probably those guys going side by side there into the first sector of the track there, and it didn't end well for Vrl, and it also doesn't seem to have ended well for Gijs. He's lost some time, but still has his front wing intact, I'm pretty sure. Although he does seem to be a bit slower, but I can't see any damage. And Tim goes past. Meanwhile, Moran pulls into the pits. So Tim finally up to P3 by not overtaking him, but going into the pits. And he will most likely come across his teammate there. His teammate says, "Thank you very much, I'll take that position." He's on the medium tyres, of course, so you'll be able to go longer than the rest of the drivers there. Moran this time also goes onto the medium tyre, and he comes out 7 seconds behind his teammate. Now this time it's Tim defending from P4. Last time he was attacking P3, so roles reversed. Lion is into the pits. Will the Ferrari driver follow? Yes, he will. Now will be a battle of the pit stop here, and oh, he seems to. I'm pretty sure he's got the jump on him. Yes, he has got the jump on him. Lion in provisional P2, and as Joost has got the jump on in the Red Bull driver Lion, he will not be happy with that. His pit crews let him down, and he will this time have to get past. Meanwhile, Phil goes up to P5, overtaking Tim. Oh, Steve contact with the FIFA there, and that plays largely into the hands of the other drivers that are all slowed down. It's nearly 3 wide there, and oh, beautiful move from Sam there to get past Chevy. Midnight can't do the same with contact. Oh, Chevy rams into Midnight then. Oh, very dirty by Chevy to hit into them. Was that on purpose? I don't know. Could have been some funding damage. Very nice move from Sam, but Midnight tried to follow, but he couldn't do the same without damage. Or making contact, I should say. Now that does mean he has some damage. Yes, he has got damage, I'm pretty sure. Yes, he has. The left end plate of his has gone. And he's got a 5-second time penalty for cutting the corner there. Chevy has got no front wing anymore, and he will leave people by so he can go safely into the section without screwing anyone over. Meanwhile, Moran's at the fastest lap time of the race. Look into the pits together with one of the McLarens there, even though he seems to be lapped. And look, he also made a pit stop there. Midnight retired from the session meanwhile. And Phil's into the lead. Who would have thought that after that miserable back race? He's onto the lead, of course. Still has to make that pit stop. Oh, safety car! There's been a safety car deployed. They will play beautifully into the hands of Phil. Oh, speeding on the safety car. Luke speeding on the virtual safety car. Or safety car, I should say, and that will mean he will have to go for a drive. This will play beautifully onto the hands of the Mercedes driver who hadn't made a pit stop just yet. It will be the second safety car in a row, and the second safety car since season 3. Oh, nicely placed into the hands of Phil. Will come out in a beautiful position. Thank you very much. You say I'll take that extra few positions. Thank you. He'll go into the hearts. One stopper this for Phil, and he comes out. Where does he come out? Does he come out ahead of his teammate? No, he doesn't. But he's definitely made up a lot of time. And Luke has to go for a drive-through penalty for speeding on the safety car. He will come out in P5. Yes, he will. He has to get a move on, otherwise Steve will pass him. He will. It's side by side on safety car conditions. He is not ahead of him, Steve. Beautifully done, and I'm pretty sure could it be a two-stopper for the soft runners that started on softs. Phil took those tires 13 laps. I'm pretty sure it will be a two-stopper, so Phil might have an opportunity to win this race. It would really, I mean, of course I'm not biased, but after all the crashing, disconnecting, and getting bad luck, it would really help him getting some motivation back. So he lines up in P5 after starting like P15 on the grid or something. And the question is, how long will this safety car be going on? And P10 for Luke after he had to take a driver penalty. Sorry, I couldn't come up with the word. I'm pretty sure it will be a two-stopper here, but these guys have all been 5-second time penalty for a collision with Kuhn. It's not going well for the... He retired from the session. He's rage quitted from the session. And that it's quite a bit of practicing down the toilet. Let's just put it at that. He had a fuel leak. Now the question is, will it be a two-stopper for the medium runners? If so, that could play beautifully into the hands of Steve and Phil. I hope we can go racing again very soon. The longer the safety car, the better for the medium runners, of course. Phil took those medium tires 13 laps, so that could be doable. Meanwhile, Tim in P4 could bring him up to the lead of the championship. I'm fairly sure, as the guys that are ahead of him right now have not been very consistent with their finishes, considering Ryan finished behind Tim quite a few times, and Joe's made his debut, and I'm pretty sure Lion had a DNF in Baku. Safety car in this lap, so Joost will lead the pack. I tell you right, around the Monaco circuit, the next few laps will be a strategy game of who can look after the tires the best. And we are on the way and racing again, and it doesn't seem like Phil and Steve had a very good restart. Blue flag for one of the lap cars there. And Joe seems to have got a little bit of a lead by 5/10 to compared to Lion there. Of course, it's also very important not to crash into the wall. Very easy to do here. This safety car has been very beautifully. I think we have one man to thank for that, and that's VRT Middag as he retired from the session. And that brought out the safety car, and as a penalty for Lion, which puts things equal, and that would mean Marine right now would win the race on penalties. I'm pretty sure he has not has any penalties. I'm pretty sure I'll just check real quick. Oh, we actually got a Joost has got a penalty. Lion has got a penalty, and further doesn't like anyone else seems to have a penalty. Of course, Phil has 1 warning, Steve has 0 warnings, and then yeah, further it's not really relevant to the race winner there. And Joost does it the quickest lap there, and Tim is behind the back of the Mercedes again, as he was a few laps ago. There's a bit of a gap falling between Phil and Tim, but so is there between Steve and Phil, so it has definitely balanced out things. I seriously reckon the medium runners could be going for a 2-stopper. Imagine winning a race around Monaco coming from P15 on the grid. Wow, that would be absolutely mental. Of course, little luck with the safety car there, but of course, still quite a few laps to go. More than 20. Lying this time at the fastest lap. And Marine's already falling behind these guys, and if he's not careful, he will also fall behind Tim, as he made a mistake in coming into Zandvoort, and that's put him under pressure from Tim again, but he keeps his P3 for now. 2.4 is the gap towards the leaders. Tim once again seems to be quicker than Marine, and Marine might do his teammate a favour if he's just backing him up there, up to Phil. Down the inside here, maybe. No, he doesn't risk it. He still sticks behind him for now. And from lap, meanwhile gets a 3-second tire penalty as he fends off the challenge from Felix. Exit seems to be killing for Tim here, as that's the point where he starts losing time. Of course, he does regain something with the DRS here, but not a very long straight, so not too much to be gained from him. For him, sorry, not from him. Meanwhile, Steve falls off a challenge of the FIFA. Now, Chet, what do you think? Will there be oh, Tim gets a 3-second tire penalty as he's still trying to catch up to Marine. Now, Chet, let me know, do you think it will be a 2-stopper for the medium runners or a 1-stopper? I was stupid enough not to check the race strategy. That's my mistake, but let's hear your guys' opinions there. Meanwhile, Formula Lap is demoted down to P3, and he's collected his teammate after a crash with winner driver Felix. And this race hasn't gone his way thus far for Felix. Now I reckon the medium runners will have to make another pit stop. And it's not a good day for Alfa Romeo as Formula Lab retires, and it's Marcos again with damage, so... What happened to Luke? First he got a drive-through penalty, and then he came together with Kuhn, which gave him another 5-second tire penalty, and after that he decided to rage quit. all happening under the safety car. Meanwhile, Ryan still humming up. The Renault driver of Tim. Even though he's in nearly full ERS, can he attack this time again? Doesn't look like it, still not close enough. Ryan just seems to be putting that extra tenth or so coming up to the straight line. Meanwhile, Phil still 1 second ahead of Steve, but 3 seconds behind Tim and Marine. "19 laps to go." Oh, contact for another yellow flag situation in sector 3, so that must be up the grid, yeah, down the grid. I can't really see. It's most likely was for Felix as he comes into the pits again, but there's still one. There's still a yellow flag, and that's Kun out of the race. Safety car again. There's been another safety car, and this will play beautifully into the hands of the medium runners. And that doesn't really put things as straightforward as they used to be. And no scorer for a Racing Point. Meanwhile, as they had their last running car tire in the reign of Sam. Driver penalty for Gijs, just like Luke. No one passing Sam just yet as does he come into the pits? No, he doesn't. Does Steve come into the pits? No, he doesn't either. Neither do the medium runners, so that probably means they'll think they can go to the end of the race. So they mean not a safety car. It's really interesting to see what the medium runners will do then. Jordan driver penalty for the guy running in P8 there, and there was another penalty for Darth FIFA there. How long will the safety car last? I hope he pulls in quickly again. Quite ironic that we haven't had a safety car in over a season, and now in 2 races we have had 3 safety cars. So, I mean, they're welcome. They bring some excitement. And Line is signaling Joost to speed up a bit here. Let's just hope they do keep it clean, unlike Vettel and Hamilton in back to 2017 there. can see some graining on the tire. Safety car in this lap then. Safety car in this lap. Lion pushing Ghost to get a move on. Come on. Oi, oversteer next to that. That's not gonna help him anyway. And could he be on the threat from Marine there? No, it seems to be clean from Marine, but he won't be able to attack Joost into P1, and it's Phil with a penalty there. Phil with a penalty. Ooh, a little luck up from Phil there. Not too much track action going on then, except between Jordan and Marcos there. Another time penalty for Lion, so he'll drop down to, that's like, Jesus Christ, that might be, that definitely is P5 if he has another penalty then. Oh no, could be P4 actually, as Marine or Phil also has a penalty. I'm getting a feeling he might overstep the boundary a bit as he's getting frustrated a bit here, but for now he's still putting on some very good calm driving. Because I was a little fast on the safety car conditions. And Tim still attacking Marine. And another crasher in the name of Marcos, as he's come together with the McLaren driver of Jordan, and he's crashed in an odd place there. Jesus, that's just coming out under the bridge there. He's crashed the car. DRS enabled again. What a 2.7 towards Joost and Lion. Ooh, lock up from Phil there again, of course, driving with no ABS since this race. He's closing up to Tim and Marine again a bit there in the swimming or the Jesus, the chicane there. Jesus. Lion with another penalty, 9 seconds worth of penalties right now. Is definitely over pushing the car. Tim again putting pressure up on Marine, still not doing it right. 10 finishes remain, well, not finishes, 10 races still remain. Could that be even less, as there's always something happening on the streets of Monaco. .7 is the gap between Lion and Joost. Surely the tires are starting to get a bit warm there. Makes contact with the wall. Grip is getting less for these guys. We're playing nicely into the hands of Steve and Phil. Phil is catching up to Da FIFA and Steve. Jordan is not having a great weekend. Definitely not a great weekend for him, as he's got another more front-wing damage, and his teammates still a lap behind though, so he won't lose that position, or will he? He might actually. Oh, he's unlapped himself towards his teammate. 2.9 is 2.57 is the gap between Joost and Lion, and the gap is still very small between Marijn and Tim. And oh, damage for Lion. I told you so. He would overstep the car. He was getting frustrated that he couldn't catch up anymore, and now he's shot himself right in the foot. He has to come into the pits, and Marijn and Phil happily say thank you very much, I'll take P2 and P3. And that is disappointment for Lion, as he has to change his front wing. He goes onto the soft compound tires. Most likely this is like 8 seconds or something with that extra wing change he has to do. And the fight between Marijn and Vrl and Tim is now for P3 instead of P2 instead of P3. Still putting on the pressure, still not getting past. Surely Tim must also be getting a little frustrated there, but a good decent finish will see him probably most likely leading the championship. So, as is the man in P2, or in P1 actually, is retired from the session. So, I recommend he would just bring this home in a very good P3. Surely the tires surely there must be another pit stop made. Oh, around the outside there, no room there, of course. Can he pull up something here into the chicane? Will be ambitious. Have to be an ambitious move there. He doesn't risk it. He still stays calmly behind him. With every lap passing, 9 laps to go. Jordan, meanwhile, will try from the session, sees his teammate go into P9. And there's a good 7.4 seconds between Marijn and Joost. He looks to be untouchable after Lion crashed the car. Does anyone else have any penalties? We know Steve doesn't have any penalties. Doesn't even have a warning. Very clean drive by him thus far. FIFA also doesn't have any penalties. And Felix has won 5 second time penalty. Lion has 9 seconds worth of penalties. Jesus Christ, Gijs has also had a massive mountain to climb around the Monaco circuit. And Lion does the quickest lap, as you would expect from him, as he's on the soft tires. But Tim has another 3 second time penalty. Would promote him down to P5 or P4. Oh, another 3-second top penalty for Phil there. That's not helping his chances. Must say, very clean draw from Ryan. He hasn't even got a penalty this race yet, and still is keeping Tim behind. But for how much longer? For how much longer? They go side by side into Zandvoort. Fantastic move from Tim as he goes up into P2 and finally past Marine. Very good drive. He's kept a cool head and he's up to P2 and also up to P1 in the championship. Very good move by him. Very much reminiscent of Max Verstappen's move in 2015 as he went around the outside of Pastor Maldonado of all people. Very good move. And Phil is falling behind Mariah at this point, who still hasn't got any penalties. But of course, Tim does have to pull out a 6-second gap as he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. I'm not a massive fan of the penalty system either, but there's been so many races that have been started on penalties. It's gonna just takes the excitement away. Phil has 6 seconds worth of penalties. Marine has 0. The last stages of this Monaco Grand Prix are on the way, and the top 3 looks to be set, but it most likely will be Marine in P2, as I don't see Tim pulling out a 6-second gap over Marine in these last remaining laps. Meanwhile, Lion goes for another set of soft tires, or actually there's another front wing change. Jesus, he's really been overdriving the car. And he waits longer for some reason, and Marine still within a second of Tim, so we'll nicely carry him along with the DRS. We'll film P2. It looks like Phil will finish P6 as Steve and Afif. I don't have any penalties just yet. Felix has quite a few, I believe. And Lion and Gijs are nowhere, so P6 it is for the Englishman. And Marine falling behind Tim, and that's Limp on helping. I mean, there's not much to look at it anymore, is there? Of course, the few remaining cars are very close to each other. Shame penalties. Shame the penalty system of this game is not helping a lot. Lying gets another 3 second time penalty. Doesn't matter too much, he's constantly pushing to get the fastest lap, even though he already has that in his possession, and he will get 5 points instead of 4, but he'll would have wanted more. As the last 3 laps are on the way, seems to have things have settled a bit there. It looked like Steve and Phil could have maybe opted for the medium tires, or maybe not Steve, but definitely Phil, as he was on lap 13. He made his pit stop later than everyone else. He could have definitely got onto the mediums. Very interesting choice by him. Little smoke there coming from FIFA. And could Felix still get past the FIFA here? Lap 37 out of 39. The final countdown begins. And Lion now has been lapped by the man who he was once chasing for P1, and very disappointing race for him. As has he got more front wing damage there, so I did see him making some contact with the wall. Yes, he has got no front wing again, but it won't be worth making another pit stop there. He has been put on a lap, so it means one last lap for him then. You know, Guy's still doing a very good, not very good job, but he's still going, and unlike some of his fellow racers, he's actually still going, and not in the wall with no wheel. Second last lap, and this man is leading. Well, Luke has come to rejoin us to see the last few lap, or the last lap of this race. Our 3 seconds liability for Lion has to be careful, doesn't get disqualified. And the last lap goes in for Joost, who made quite an impact on VRL in his debut. He will join Dylan and I'm pretty sure Chapelele also won on his debut. And of course Phil also winning on his debut as well. Can't really think of anyone else. No one really comes to mind when you're on the debut. So you'll join a very limited list of drivers winning on the debut. And he comes to the swimming pool section for the last time there. And he will win here in Monaco, coming up to the checkered flag. He will get this win and he will go to the top step of the podium a good 8 seconds ahead of his nearest rival Tim. And Steve has a 3-second time penalty, so that will most likely put FIFA up to P4 instead of Steve. So very stupid move by him. Where will Phil come out? He will most likely come, I reckon he will come P6. Yes, he will come P6, as Felix also has penalties and Lion is a whole lot behind. Started out so good with a pole position, kept leading the race, got jumped in the pit stop and couldn't get past, so eventually crashed the car, and it only is 5 points for him, as he does has secured the fastest lap. Joost then winning the race here in Monaco. Moran in P2 getting that P2 on penalties. Very good drive by him. Very consistent. Very, maybe he definitely wasn't the second most. He definitely wasn't the second most quickest person out there here on track, but he was the second person to finish, as not many drivers did finish the race. Look at all his penalties, he's the only one not to get a penalty it seems, and only 9 finish with Gijs, Lion, Felix, Phil, Darth FIFA, Steve still holds off Darth FIFA, so didn't notice he also had a penalty. D2G 1 take in P3, Moran with no penalties in P2, and Joost very impressively winning on his debut. I'll just invite the people for the post-race interviews. Joost. Just trying to get them up. There we go. And then we have, of course, Marine, aka Ryan Olibol, on the podium as well on P2. Ryan Olibol, I can't find him for some reason. Odd. I was being stupid, sorry, it's taking a little bit longer than expected. Moran on the ball there, and Tim as well in 5 cents. We just gotta wait for them to join as their other hectic Monaco race. Should wait for everyone to join. Hello, welcome to the post-race interview here, Joost. You've won your first VRL race, congratulations on that, and it was a very special race. I'm just going to ask you some questions. Did you ever expect to win after not getting pole position and not really leading most of the race? Of course, the second half you did dominate that, But the first half didn't go your way. Did you think you could still win that race, or did you lose all hope? Yes, very dominant race, as you were a good 10 seconds clear of the man in P2, Moran. Good race from you. You're the only one not to pick up penalties, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That definitely saved you this race. As from my point of view, you definitely didn't look like the second most quickest person out there on track. Are you happy with this P2 finish, or would you feel like more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Joost was way too quick, say with Lion, but I think he picked up some damage and had to hit.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Tim was much quicker, but I knew from the start. I practiced some defensive lines, and yeah, Tim also had 6 seconds of time penalty. So in the end, he tried to pass me with like 9 laps to go. Wasn't the cleanest, but yeah, I decided to just let him go, and I knew at that point he got like 6 seconds right at that point, so I just went cruising to the finish line.
Yes, definitely. Good job by you. It doesn't look like Tim seems to be here. Oh, that's an info, I'm pretty sure. I'll just check again. But yeah, very good job by both of you. I'm not sure where that leaves you, Moran, in the championship standings. I'm pretty sure you won't be leading, but you will be close to P2, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Qualifying, I had all my rivals behind me, and then I knew I just had to defend and keep them behind, and I would gain some points back.
Yes, it doesn't look like Tim will be joining us, so we'll just end it right here. Thank you for both joining the post-race interviews. I hope to see the viewers next time out for, I can't remember which race, but it definitely is next week, so same time. I hope to see you again, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.